speaking of raising holy hell, you're seeing that already when it comes to the nomination of Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama to be the next Attorney General. The 70-year-old was praised for his extensive legal experience. And in fact, Sessions has touted himself as a champion of desegregation in Alabama. The little problem, ain't much to back it up. In 2009 interview with the National Review, Sessions said he filed 20 to 30 civil rights cases to desegregate schools, political organizations, and county commissions when he was a U.S. attorney in Alabama. Okay, got it. That's what he had to say. But the question is, where is the evidence? The Atlantic searched Alabama legal databases from 1981 through 1985 and 1995 and found no evidence Sessions ever filed school desegregation lawsuits. They also reviewed his 1986 confirmation hearing transcript when he was a U.S. district judge nominee and found no mention of his alleged desegregation efforts. Adam, you went through all this, worked on this. Explain this. I mean, so again, his supporters are saying, oh no, there's a record. You're saying don't exist.
No, and in fact, it would have been extremely unusual for a U.S. attorney to be doing desegregation cases. Those cases are generally handled in the Civil Rights Division in Washington, D.C. Now, often what happens is when those cases are filed, the U.S. attorney's name will be on a filing for that area, and that's basically what happened. And in fact, the attorneys who worked on the cases that Sessions put forth, and there were very few, and most of them weren't school desegregation cases, said that he didn't work on those cases, that work was done by other people, and his name just happened to be on it because that was a sort of pro forma thing that happens.
So what is he doing here?
Well, I think it's, I think it's a very typical Trump strategy, which is to say something that may not be true, but just sort of insist it's true until, his supporters believe it and repeat it to the point at which, people actually don't question it anymore. But there's really no evidence that Jeff Sessions, and keep in mind, there were a lot of white men in Alabama at that time who were civil rights attorneys who played that role, but Jeff Sessions wasn't one of them.
So is he omitting information from his approval process? Is he hiding things from us then?
No, he's not. I mean, those cases are actually listed on his questionnaire, but I would say that the people who worked on them argue that he is exaggerating his role in an effort to create a perception that it isn't correct.
I think it's really interesting that after this campaign where Donald Trump dog whistled every racist around the world, that he finally realizes he's going to have to clean up Jeff Sessions in order to get him confirmed, and that he can't go forward with the reputation of being the racist who at some point said a lawyer who defended the black defendant might be a race traitor. He doesn't want that to be the perception, even though Donald Trump created this attitude, this atmosphere after the campaign or during the campaign.
Ralph, in this case here, look, at the end of the day, the Attorney General is going to be the one responsible. You look at some of these police departments around the country. Senator Dick Durbin said that Chicago is likely going to sign a deal before President Barack Obama leaves office because they've had their police department investigated. When you look at Ferguson, when you look at Baltimore, when you look at voting rights issues, when you look at these critical issues, when you look at school discipline in these schools, this is a serious concern as to whether or not Jeff Sessions will actually care about these issues as Attorney General.
I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog Day. Jeff Sessions is going to get confirmed as the Attorney General of the United States. Period. End of discussion. It's going to happen.
That's not in the discussion.
No, it's going to happen.
No.
And
but if Senator Jeff Sessions says he did these things, fighting segregation, where's the evidence?
What I saw was they said that it wasn't in the PACER system. It wasn't in these other electronic systems.
No, not they said. Adam's right there.
Well, Adam, and if you know Alabama, you know how backwards Alabama is, and most of the stuff down there isn't in their computer system.
I don't know if we really want to blame.
How do we blame Alabama instead of a liar?
I want Adam to respond to
considered that possibility. But the truth was that the Alabama school systems, almost all of the schools, were already under desegregation orders before Jeff Sessions even became an assistant attorney general. And some of the biggest school desegregation cases in the country were actually dealt with in Alabama. You know, that George Wallace was trying very hard to resist integration, and so the federal court system basically put almost the entirety of the state under desegregation orders. So it's not as though, it's not simply a matter of we can't find it, it's that there wouldn't have been any cases to file because those cases were already ongoing. And again, those cases were being handled out of the Civil Rights Division in Washington, D.C. They weren't being handled by individual U.S. attorneys in those states.
I think
Sounds pretty clear to me.
when we start to deter ourselves from talking about who's accountable and what should be presented, where's the information, to just say, oh, Alabama is backwards, we're missing the opportunity to hold, again, our elected officials accountable. We're missing the opportunity to say our next attorney general might have came into this process unfair, has lied, and has not presented the information the way that he should present it in order for us to actually confirm it.
And we're missing the opportunity to have truth be the basis of our decision making.
It's either true or false. It's simple. Ralph, this ain't that hard. Either you did it or you didn't.
The fact that somebody can't find it doesn't mean that it's not there.
The fact that a reporter and a series of reporters can't find
And this
it
gentleman
means
just
that it
said
didn't
Well,
happen.
then, if it's not there, then he doesn't get to be attorney general. Let's get rid of him. Let's pick someone who actually has a record of the work that
we
they
can
have
verify.
done to be over the government.
Final thought. Adam, final thought on this.
I have to emphasize that we asked them for the evidence that he filed these cases, and they couldn't produce it. And I mean, if you're going to say I did something, it's actually on you. The burden of proof is actually on you. And again, we looked very hard for it. We asked around. I called lots of people in Alabama to try to find out what he might have been talking about. And just the historical record of someone doing this is just not there.
The death
Adam
of
Serwer,
truth.
The Atlantic. We appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Kickstart your day at 7 and get the news you need from the perspective you want. NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.